Hey guys, it's Calysta, and today I'm going to be walking all of you guys through Elite Stage 8-9 Trial of the Rose. Our starting lineup is going to be pretty straightforward. We have Tracker, Rose Knight, Death Knight, Prima, and Trickster. Now, some of you guys might be wondering why we're bringing in Trickster. He has, at level 60, the ability to prevent your enemies from dealing any physical damage to him and his allies for a certain amount of time. So when you're looking at who we're going to be going against, big guy, it makes perfect sense because he can deal a tremendous amount of physical damage to multitude members of your party. So this is kind of why Trickster makes sense to bring to this battle. You're going to notice that in the very beginning of the round, Rose Knight went ahead and shielded her allies. You're also going to see that we are having tremendous drops in HP here, and unlike some of the previous chapters that we've walked you guys through, we are not going to be sitting on ults here. We are pretty quickly going to be cycling through our ultimate abilities to make sure that we can use as many ultimate abilities as possible during each and every round of this stage. You're also going to notice that the way that Prima Donna is going to be healing throughout the battle is going to be a very kind of constant heal. That is going to be really important. Don't wait until your heroes are in the 20% kind of danger zone of HP here, because if you miss a stun on big guy and he deals one of his attacks, he could potentially wipe your team. It is very common for people that are kind of doing this stage in the very kind of beginning to wipe continuously in this very first round, just because, again, big guy does tend to deal quite a bit of physical damage. You're also going to notice that this round is lasting quite a bit longer than some of our previous rounds because, again, as we're moving up, it is getting a bit more difficult. Now we're on to round 2, and you're going to notice our enemies are Songstress of the Sea, Night Raven, and Prima. Night Raven is kind of up front. We are going to make sure that we are targeting Night Raven. Something that we mentioned before, Night Raven does not have a tremendous amount of HP. That's why we're not going to go for a backline healer, but he can deal a tremendous amount of damage to a multitude of our allies. So we want to make sure we're taking him out pretty quickly. We're then going to focus on Prima. Then we're going to focus on our mermaid. We have to prepare for the second portion of this round, which is when we have 5 banshees basically surround our team from behind. Now, the threat here is going to be that these banshees have the ability to charm certain allies. So you can see here, they've charmed Trickster, they've charmed Tracker for a little bit. Trickster did actually go ahead and attack Prima. Doesn't do a tremendous amount of damage one-on-one, so she was able to kind of heal through that, but definitely something to be aware of, which is why you want to make sure you clear the Banshees as quickly as possible. Now we're on to round 3. Here we have Rose Knight, Prima, Child of Light, Sea Squire, and Trickster. So their Trickster is doing the same thing that our Trickster is doing. It's preventing physical damage for a certain amount of time from being done. So you have to kind of think through that and understand how you can have your backline move up a bit. So here you are going to be focusing primarily on the front line. You're going to notice we just lost Death Knight, but he does have the resurrection ability, which is super helpful, so he can kind of resurrect himself. And you are also going to notice that Tracker right there is focusing to a certain extent on dealing some damage to Prima. You don't want to deal a tremendous amount of damage to Prima here because you're just helping her get her ultimate ability that much faster. You are going to try to basically push kind of through the tank. So we took Child of Light down first. She is easier to take down than Rose Knight. Rose Knight is still standing. You're going to notice Trickster was the very first enemy that we brought down. He has pretty low HP. But again, it is really about moving from front to back as opposed to kind of dealing damage to the back line. That is all for today. If you guys have any questions or suggestions, feel free to put them down below. Thanks for watching.